ప్రార్థిస్తున్నాను.
ఆపదామపహర్తారం దాతారం సర్వసంపదాం లోకాభిరామం శ్రీరామం భూయో భూయో నమామ్యహం. యో నిత్యమచ్యుతపదాంబుజయుగ్మరుక్మా వ్యామోహతస్తదితరాణి తృణాయ మేనే అస్మద్గురోర్భగవతోస్య దయైకసింధోః రామానుజస్య చరణౌ శరణం ప్రపద్యే. జై శ్రీమన్నారాయణ. We are really privileged to be here on this auspicious occasion of celebrating the 125th anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna Mutt. When the world is in need of dharma, when the Western world is not much exposed towards the Vedic culture, it is Sri Vivekananda Swami who spoke about the Vedic concepts and also about the truths that are embedded in the Vedic literature to the world of scholars. There is no doubt that Vedic concepts are known to the Western worlds as well, even before Vivekananda Swami. But they became more famous and many people came to understand by Pujya Sri Vivekananda Swamiji when he attended Chicago's meeting. From then on, of course, people in India also started learning about them. It's common practice, of course. Anything born here goes out, takes a stamping, comes back, and will be recognized by the local people. I think the same thing happened even with Srila Prabhupada Swami also. When he was here for longer times, nobody was able to understand the concept of bhakti, devotion. But when he went to Boston, when he spent some time there, and when he was recognized by the people there, and when he became very, very famous there, and then when he came back to Bharat, then people started adoring him, following him. Poruginti pullakura ruchi. There is a common saying in Telugu, anything comes from outside tastes so better, always. Ramakrishna Mission did a lot in the society where there are elite who are seeking to understand the truths of the Vedic concepts. And we have to thank those great founders and those great the gurus who brought those concepts into the light from Beluru Mutt, and they propagated those things across the world. When we met with Bodhamayananda Swamiji very recently, and they informed us about this 125th anniversary celebrations here and asked us to speak something about Visishta Advaita, which is of course the need of the day. No? We have to talk about the Vedic concepts, not in terms of what school of thought that you are practicing. But we need to know the commonalities, as Pandurangeji said. We need to understand the common ideology of all the schools of thought, because the schools of thought what we have today are not actually took a shape to quarrel with each other. They are different ideologies to understand the truths. They are different approaches to reach the ultimate goal. We always say there are differences of opinions. They are not clashes. Differences of opinion is always accepted. Even in a family between wife and husband, between the children and the parents, there may be different types of opinions and ideas, right? Then they will have a debate, and then they come to an understanding, and they take the common points and they try to follow them. They won't quarrel with each other. Because my ideology and your ideology is different, we need not quarrel. You have to appreciate what is the greatness of my ideology and what is your ideology. We always say, when a student comes out from the 12th grade or intermediate, and then he has to choose certain topics like whether I have to go for law, engineering, medicine, or arts, or accounts, or whatever it is, then he chooses that. It doesn't mean that one subject is greater than the other. And it doesn't mean that one subject is lower than the other as well. It depends upon the taste of the person. As we have in Telugu, Jiffako ruchi, purreko buddhi. Tastes are different, thoughts are different, and our duty is, if we are having a sense of society, common society, and we need to understand the commonalities, whichever and wherever they are, and take them, but don't forget the roots. What are the roots for us, our Bharats? Rishis. Rishis, our ancestors. They had the vision. They had the intuition. They found the Vedic truths. And even they also said that, they did not say that I have discovered this, but they said, iti susruma purvesham, enas tadvyacha chakshire. We heard from our ancestors this way, and we understood this, and that's how they started communicating to their next generations, and it passed on from generation to generation. And then there were always debates and discussions, even during the period of Veda Vyasa. That means approximately 6,000 years before. There were always discussions, and there were always differences of opinions. If you read Brahma Sutras, even there are so many great sages had different types of opinions. It was then, during the period of Veda Vyasa, who invited all the great scholars of different schools and came to a common understanding, and then he presented the Brahma Sutras, small sutras. But during that time, probably that type of presentation was pretty much enough for them to understand. Of course, time passes, and the ability of the man slowly decreases, the understanding capabilities have their own limitations, and then they needed a kind of commentaries. Then came, but we need to understand, at every point of time in the history, there were always the people, or probably forces, what we call as the evil forces, who wanted to curb the Vedic knowledge. And even during that period also, there were forces which wanted to eliminate the Vedic culture from the face of the earth. Fortunate enough we are, the great Shankaracharya emerged as the first Acharya to speak about the Veda and Vedantic concepts. Though there were great Acharyas like Purva Mimamsakas, but now people will have their own abilities. It's not the question of how knowledgeable one is, but it's a question of how he is able to take the message to the masses. That matters. Knowledge was there even before Shankaracharya Swami, but it was very much limited to their own areas and to their own practices. And Shankaracharya Swami was the first Acharya who came out with Vedic concepts. And he wanted to say something to the world that we need to accept Vedas. And for that we need to accept one common or probably one ultimate reality called Brahma, Parabrahma. Before him, the people were not able to accept anything at all because they were always depending upon just their own logic. Whatever my mind says is the ultimate truth, finish. I don't believe in any pramana. My mind is only the pramana. That's it. How can your mind becomes pramana? How old are you? And what is your exposure with regard to the vast and very big universe? So you need to have some kind of authority to say that whether my thought is appropriate or not. But the people in those days were not in a position to accept any pramana other than their own thought, what we call as inference. It's called as anumana. So they only believed in that. Whatever I think with logical thinking, and that's all it is. But Shankaracharya Swamiji says, yes, even if you want to accept something, let us say that everything is just illusion because everything is temporary, everything is always in the state of a flux, and everything moves and nothing is permanent here. So all this is not permanent and hence it is not truth and it is illusionary and it is Maya. Shankaracharya said, it's okay, let us, for God's sake, let us accept it. But you say that everything is illusionary. You are illusion, I am illusion, everything is illusion, fine. But at least for illusion, you need a support. Yes or no? Somebody went to a well. In olden days, we used to have wells in our homes, right? Where we used to draw the water from the well and then use for our activities. And where we have no boring pumps in those days. So obviously we used to have a rope and then we have to draw the water with a bucket or with a pot. And they brought a new coir rope. And then they draw the water. After that, with a pot to draw the water, they have to make a knot. And then they made a knot, drew the water, and left it at the well side, and then the person left. Another person came there and saw something is there because it was a new coir rope and it twists like this. And because he made a knot and then it just was raised like this. And then the person, because it was probably the evening time, maybe before the darkness spreads all over, what we call is the dusk, and then sun is not there, but darkness is also not there, and it is a twilight time. And when he came there, probably he may be having a little bit cataract also, So he was not able to see the stuff properly. And then he thought, because something is raising like that and is round and it is just something like that, and he thought it is a snake. It's a snake. The moment he thought it, he started, just scaring. And then he started crying and then shivering and then yelled. And then he just ran away from there saying, "Oh, snake, snake, snake." See, it's not really a snake. It's a rope. Even for him to have a thought of a snake, he was in need of some base there. Some base is needed. Without base, how can he even think of a snake at all, right? He did not think of a snake somewhere outside. Only there. Even at the well, he did not see the rings and thought of snake. Only by seeing the rope, he thought of a snake. Yes? A base is very much needed, even to have an illusionary thought also. Let us say whatever we thought may go later. But even for the thought, because you needed a base, let us say the whole world is not true, is Maya. But even to have a thought of Maya, because currently you are there, I am eating, you are also eating, I am drinking, you are also drinking, I am speaking, you are also hearing, and I am doing something else, and you are also doing something. There are many people are doing so many activities, and all these things are happening, whether they are illusionary or not, that's a different issue, but we are all there, no? To have all these illusionary stuff, you need a base like a wall. If there is a wall, you keep this photograph here. Tomorrow you may change the photograph, that's okay. You can't create a photograph here, just in the empty space. You need a base there. Accept that base first of all. The name of that base is, because it must be so big, because we are seeing so many big and bigger things here all around. And because that should be very, very big, and call it as a Brahma. Understand? It's a Brahma. It's so big. And that Brahma is true. Accept it. Other things, yes, you say, they are Midhya. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Midhya. First come to that understanding, accepting one reality, and then rest of the things we will discuss later. Now, having accepted, see, even the person who never believes in any Veda or stuff like that, but this is also a logical stuff, isn't it? Because you are able to see the snake only on the rope, not on the ring, not on the frame, not on the ground, not elsewhere. That's the reason you need to accept a base. So that is what we said as Brahma, and one Brahma, okay? Now, having accepted a base is needed for any kind of thought or illusion. Now let's come back. There is a very, very time-tested scripture called Veda. People accept it. Why can't we too accept it? To that extent, let us accept it where it said that there is only one Brahma. Okay? Slowly, Shankaracharya Swami was able to convince those people who never believed in God's existence or the pramana other than their own inference. He was able to convince them to accept some base for illusion as a support, logically, and whatever is logically established to support that logic, to support that ideology, wherever the Veda or the Vedantic scriptures accept the existence of one Brahma, let us accept that also, because you already accepted one support. Wherever there are mantras talking about the one existence or one reality, and take only that portion and let's not accept the rest of the mantras, or let us give some kind of different meaning to those mantras. People started accepting those to that extent where one reality is given. Ekameva advitiyam. Because it also says only ekameva, the eva also there, one alone. So, okay, because I have already accepted one support, I may accept that one alone mantra also as authority, no problem. Shankaracharya Swami, during his time, was able to convince people, or probably the so-called intellects of that time, to that extent to accept that Veda is also an authority. Veda is a pramana for us. Pramana means that leads us for understanding the real things. Right? Pramam nayati. So that also leads us to know the real things. So, okay, let's accept to that extent. Veda, which was otherwise thrown out from the society for longer, probably centuries, was brought back into the society by the great Shankaracharya Swami during very short period of 32 years. Can you imagine a person in 32 was able to do that much? Now, having accepted one, then it became the responsibility of Shankaracharya. It became the duty of Ramanujacharya to talk more about that one reality. Reality is always one and one only. But how that one will be, this is probably the duty became to Ramanujacharya Swami. So let me say something to you. What is this? A flower. How many is this? See carefully and tell me. How many is this? If you go to the market, he takes only money for one flower. Isn't it? Now, let me pick up something from this. How many is this? Let me say something like this. How many it is? And ultimately, how many is this? This is what Ramanujacharya was talking about. In brief, what we call as Visishta Advaita. Understand? You said it is one only. Yes? It is one and one only. Good. And this is a different stuff. This is a different thing. And what is this beneath the flower? The stack. Is the stack and the flower are the same? Do you say this is only this also is the flower? I don't think that we say so. Right? This is the stem. And this is the flower. And if you turn this upside down, there is a base for this. Do you call this base as the stem? Or do you call this flower as the stem? Is the flower stem, and the stack. Do you think all these three are different or one? Answer, please. One or different? If you go to a science student, he says, he never accepts that. You are able to see this very clearly. This is in green color, and this is in a different color, and this is in a different color. The size is different, shape is different, and here above this the number is different. And how can you say that this is one? Stem is not the flower, petals are not the flower. Now, is the color the flower? Color and the flower are the same? Yes or no? Arey Baba, I am not talking any Vedanta. I am just a normal person asking you a normal question. Is the color and the flower is the same or not? If it is the same, the color you should not see anywhere else. But the bag I am seeing there is in same color. The color is different than the flower. Now, it's cool. Is the touch and the flower are the same or different? And it carries 15 grams of weight. Is the weight and the flower are the same or different? Yes or no? I think that you are awakened. You are not in Supta Dasa. Look here. You call it one. It's 100% correct, and you are given 100 marks for that question. And I say, here are many things, and even you should give 100 marks to me too. Because the stack is different, the base is different, the petals are different, the color is different, the weight is different, the taste is different, and the touch is different. And the fragrance is also something different. What we call this, one qualified with many things in it. A flower is qualified with many things. And if you see in reality, this and the bottom are not at all the same. They are different. They are always different. This is different than this. This is different than this. Each petal is different than the other petal, and they never become one. That is Dvaita. True. That's also true. And it is one. Yes, that's also true. And this, now it became the responsibility of Ramanujacharya to bring all of them together and say, hey, you are correct, and you are also correct, my friend. And let us understand that this is unity in diversity. Our topic today. You call it is one Brahma. But that one Brahma is always with few things in him, inseparably connected to him. They are always inseparable, as you are. Take you as an example. You. How many are you? What is the confusing question? Swamiji, the question is wrong. Don't say that. How many are you? If you ask a pregnant, what does she say? How many are you? If she goes to a movie, the ticket, only one will be given to her. But if you go to a doctor, he says, hey, there is something else. There is a little baby in 7th year. Be careful. Then he gives some advices. Now, do you say that she is 1 or 2? And after 2 months, the baby is delivered. And then she is carrying a baby and then going here and there, then they take half ticket. Arey, he was here and you took only 1 ticket for me? Only the inner stuff came out and you want another half ticket more? Why should I pay? Just a couple of days before, when some lady was in the bus, the bus conductor asked a ticket.
పనేసియా మెరిడియన్ హాస్పిటల్స్ ప్రతి సామాన్యుడికి అందుబాటులో అంతర్జాతీయ వైద్య ప్రమాణాలతో వైద్యం 24 గంటల అంబులెన్స్ సర్వీసుతో పాటు అత్యవసర సేవలతో ఏర్పాటైన చికిత్సా విభాగం మా దగ్గర గుండె సంబంధిత మూత్రపిండ కాలేయ కంటి జబ్బులకు మోకాళ్ల శస్త్ర చికిత్సతో పాటు కోవిడ్-19 బ్లాక్ ఫంగస్ వంటి వైరస్లకు అన్ని రకాల ఆరోగ్య సమస్యలకు నమ్మకమైన అత్యాధునిక వైద్య చికిత్సను అందిస్తున్న హాస్పిటల్ పనేసియా మెరిడియన్ హాస్పిటల్స్. మీ ఆరోగ్య సమస్య ఏదైనా ఇప్పుడు పరిష్కారం సాధ్యం. సంపూర్ణ ఆరోగ్యం కోసం సంప్రదించండి పనేసియా మెరిడియన్ హాస్పిటల్స్, ఆపోజిట్ భీరంగూడ కమాన్, ఆర్సీపురం, సంగారెడ్డి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్, పిన్ కోడ్ 502032. సంప్రదించాల్సిన ఫోన్ నెంబర్ 08455241777 మరియు 7893757770.
Why should I pay when our government came into existence? She said. So also, if the lady claims, yesterday, 2 months before I came by the same train and you took only 1 ticket, only the inner stuff came out and you want another half ticket more from me? Why should I pay? Can you give any logical answer for that? Why should she pay? And a couple of months before, why didn't she pay? I'll tell you. She did not pay before because the second stuff which was inside is inseparably with her. Inseparably is in the womb. So she was not given another ticket. But now the same baby is separated, having its own existence, its own entity, independently breathing, eating, and sounding. So another half a ticket should be given to her. Otherwise, our DGP Garu is here to take care of them. My friends, one, when things are inseparably with them, they are counted as one only. God, whom we call as the Brahma, is one. That is Advaita, and he is always one only. Visishtadvaitam is not different than Advaita. It is Advaitam only. But a little bit deeper we need to see to understand the oneness of that Brahma is like you. You are one. Whenever you speak about yourself, you say, I am one. But remember, you are not one. Do you know how many cells are there in your body? How many? A minimum of 600 trillion cells are there in you. Trillion. 12 zeros after 1. 600 trillions of cells are there in you, in every person who is sitting here. Do you know that? Minimum. And each cell has its own individuality, its own brain, its own soul, its own life. If you are able to provide a life to that cell, then that cell takes a form like you. You understand what I said? But unfortunately, human beings are not able to give life to each of the cells. In billions and jillions, only one cell takes life. And that is what you call a son or a girl. Isn't it? But remember, each cell in your body, each cell is able to take a life of its own if you are able to provide that. Now, tell me, are you alone? Are you only one? But you are one, with so many trillions of lives with you, within you also. You are leading all of them. You are just like a pilot in the flight. You are taking the flight. You are responsible for all those trillions of lives. And if you are good, they are good. If you are not, they are not. So simple as that. If you do a good deed, they are all enjoying the fruit. And if some bad thing is done, if the pilot does something wrong, as all in the flight are affected, so also we. That is the reason, all our rishis, all our sages, and all our acharyas, and of course all the well-wishers of us always guide us to say, yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapna avabodhasya. Are Baba, eat well. Don't stop eating. Eat well. Be modest in eating. Be modest in speaking. Be modest in doing. Be modest in sleeping. Be modest in every aspect of the life. That itself is the biggest yoga. That means you have achieved everything. You need not discuss about dharma, artha, kama or moksha, and they come on their own to your doorstep. This is what even Lord Krishna also spoke in Bhagavad Gita. You, one. Where are you? Can you tell me, please? Where are you? You are here, sir, in the body. We are in the body. We are confined to this body. We are not able to control the other body. Remember, we are here, confined to this body. And in this body, can you locate your existence? Not really. Because you, as an individual, are able to spread all over the body that is given to you. If it is an ant body, in that. If it is a mosquito body, in that. If it is an insect body, in that. If it is a small, tiny cell in that body, or if it is a big body like an elephant or a giraffe in that body, whichever the limit provided to that specific body, you are able to spread through your knowledge from that body, from top to the bottom, in all directions. Not only just spreading, and you are able to control each of the cells of your body too. But remember, your body is the cup, and you are in that, existing yourself, some part of that body, and able to control every cell of the body. Every cell of the body. I think probably our scientists say, if you knock out one gene from one cell, all cells immediately become the same. Like that specific gene will be knocked out from all the cells. You need not handle each of the cells. You understand? You need not knock out the specific cell from that gene from every cell. If you knock out a single gene from a single cell, which is here in the body, and all the trillions of cells adopt that and they follow that rule. It's so interesting to understand that concept. My friends, this is for your body. So you have a body, you are with a body, having so many lives with you, and you yourself are able to command all of them. You are one. But remember, you are a qualified one. You are qualified with a body, you are qualified with so many lives with you, and you are one. You are not true. Advaitam only. But that Advaitam is a qualified one, I said, and in Sanskrit it is said qualified means Visishtam. Visishtam, not great. No, in our languages, oh, he is a Visishta Atidhi. That means more respected, right? A step up. That is what we call a Visishta, means greatness. But in Sanskrit, Visishtam doesn't mean greatness. Visishtam is a qualified. As I showed you the flower, this one is qualified. This Pushpam is a Visishtam with a color. Visishtam with a stem. Visishtam with a touch. Visishtam with a weight. Visishtam with a taste. And Visishtam with so many petals, small and big in it. This is a Visishta Vastu. So this is Advaitam only. But this is Visishta Advaitam. Take anything in this universe. Anything in this universe, right from the atoms, everything is always qualified with something. If you take the atoms, there are Visishtams. They are Visishtam with electrons, and there are Visishtams with protons, and there are Visishtam with neutron, etc. So they are all Visishtam. That means qualified. Take a finger. How many is this? Big confusion. If you say many, then you say that correct the spectacles. This is also one, but qualified with a skin, qualified with steps, qualified with a bone in it, qualified with the flesh, with the blood, and with the nerves, and with the lymphs, and with so many other stuff, with a nail, and everything are here in this one. This is one qualified with many with it. Do you agree? Take anything in that sense. So Ramanujacharya Swami wants to say that everything in this universe is only one, that is Brahman. But that Brahma is always with the millions and millions of uncountable souls who are taking the forms like Sura, Nara, Tiryak and Sthavara, 4 types of things. All the souls will take the forms, and it is the Prakriti provides those facilities for them to take the bodies. But for the bodies and the souls, the inner controller is always Brahma. And there is no 2 Brahmas. As Swamiji rightly said, there should not be 2 Brahmas. If there are many Brahmas, there will be Star Wars. So there are no Star Wars except in movies. So Brahma is always one with the souls, just like cells in your body, and with a nature that takes different shapes, right from the universe till to the atom, or probably if you go still the lower parts of the atom, what's the called, the Puria or something like that, which is the tiniest particle of the atom. This is one type of Visishtadvaitam, my friends. Another type of Visishtadvaitam also based on this ideology came out. Just I'd like to say that as our Chandogya Upanishad says as a Tattvamasi. If you see this flower, probably it came from a small sapling that sowed in ground once upon a time. And when it was sowed, it is only just a small piece of stem that was sowed. And slowly it grew up. And when it grew up, it took different branches, and then the flowers emerged from each of those branches. And do you say that these flowers are newly created? Were they already there in the small stem, small sapling when it was sowed? What's that? Exactly. It was there in the small stem in the software form. It's programmed. The structure, what you see in the branches, the structure, what you see in the flowers, is already there in the small stem, but it's not seen there. Why? It is because in a very subtlest form, which is not to be manifested. Right? So that is in a micro form, which slowly took the macro form, then you are able to see that. Now, if you take a small tree like a banyan tree, take a small seed, break it, the Chandogya says, break it, you won't see anything in that. And you cannot say that there is nothing, because you are not able to see that. Your eyes are very poor in perceiving that. So you could not see that. Now, take a proper step so that the seed starts germination, and then the shoot and root starts, and then the stems and branches come, and then you can see so many fruits and flowers and the leaves and branches, etc. But remember, whatever you see in the big form as a tree with so many details, colors, shapes and tastes, etc., are all there very well programmed in the small seed as well. That's the reason they only come out. Otherwise, if you keep a banyan seed, you have to see the bulls. Or otherwise, you have to see the human guys coming out of that. No. Whatever the seed, only those things come out, because all the details you see in the form of a tree or something are already there in the form of the seed in the very subtler form. And what is called as Sukshma Avastha. The Sukshma Avastha becomes Sthula Avastha. So Sukshma and Sthula are not different, isn't it? Seed and tree, are they different? Yes, they are different in terms of time and shapes. They are not different with the quality. Yes? Because whatever the quality of the seed is the same quality as a tree. So tree and seed, as you see, are not different. But remember, even the seed is consistent of so many things in it. So also the tree is consisting many things in it. And a tree is a Visishta, seed is also a Visishta. And this Visishtam and thus Visishtam are not different at all. And seed, Karana, and tree as the Karya. This is cause, seed, and effect is the tree. Both are not different and both are the same. Visishtam is the cause and Visishtam is the effect. The only difference is time. That's it. That time is different. This time is different. You can't see the tree and the seed at the same time. Time of the seed is different. Time of the tree is different. So, cause and effect are not different. That is also a Visishta, but one, Advaita. And tree also is Visishtam, but one tree, Advaita. And the cause and effect both are the same, Karana, Karya, Abheda. This is called Visishta Advaita. Karanam is a Visishtam, Karyam is a Visishtam, both are not different, both are Advaitam only. Just like us. When I was in the mother, I was pretty small. And when I was in the father, still smaller. And now, the same I think, am here. And I'm not different than the cell. But then, many things are not in a manifesting form. Hair was not there, bones were not there, but in a different form, with a different name, in a different shape. And now they are able to be seen in a visible form. So, the world, what we see, is from invisible form to a visible form, and both are not different. Even then, it is one God taking care of all the souls, no matter who they are and where they are, and also taking care of the nature, the Prakriti, whichever is there, whether it is here or elsewhere, and He is the inner supporter and also external supporter. Inner supporter means Antaratma. External supporter is Sarvavyapi. That is the beautiful mantra, says Narayana. All these things, whether they are animated or inanimated stuff, sentient or non-sentient objects, are called Naras. Naras. Ra is perishable, Nara is imperishable, and there is plurality, right, for these things. Variety of plurality. If you take a tree, other than the water, other than the stone, but tree is not just one. There are banyan trees, banana trees, and coconut trees, and other fruit trees, and other flower trees, so many trees. And even among them, this is the mango season, isn't it? Mango season. And even if you take mango, they are different than other trees. And even among the mangoes, you know many varieties of mangoes, right? Cheraku rasalu, Chinna rasalu, Pedda rasalu, Banganapilli rasalu, and so many other stuff are there. There are hundreds of varieties, and that is a plurality. So the plurality is having a plurality in it also. And to say that, the word becomes longer. Nara becomes Nara, according to the grammatical rules. And all these Naras are supported by one power called, that is Advaitam. Nara, Ayana. Ayana is a supporter. But the support will be in two ways. For some, if you take a car, the supporter of the car is in that. But if you take the glass of water, and the supporter to the water is not inside, is only outside. So there are few things from outside they support, few things support from inside, but the one whom we call as Brahma, he is supporting all these objects and the entire universe from within and also from outside. Ji? Coalition means mixing up with so many things. But he is having different abilities with him because his abilities are innumerable. As I showed the flowers, qualities are innumerable. And of course, he is Nirguna, as our Veda mantra says. But Nirguna means not that not having qualities. Whenever we talk something, we start relating from our end only. When you start talking about compassion, you take a human person's compassion and you start talking. And human person's compassions are always, having something expectation from others. But from him, His compassion is not like our compassion. And his daya is not like our daya. And his saulabhyam is not like our saulabhyam. His paratvam is not like our paratvam. So, he is not having qualities at all like as we possess. So, he is nirguna. And he is saguna because his qualities are just exclusively for him alone, and so he is saguna. So he is saguna, he is nirguna. And he is sarupa and nirupa also. When you talk about the rupa, you see your rupa and start relating his rupa. Like just 2 eyes and 2 ears and 32 teeth and 1 tongue and 2 hands, because you want him to be the greater personality, and you give him another 2 more hands, out of compassion. That's okay. But don't think that he is like you. That's why the Vedas said, of course, even our Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra say, Antakaram, Bhujagasayanam, Vishwakaram, Gaganasadrisam, Bhupado, Isyanavir, Vedasurandas Chandra, Suryocha Netre. The entire universe is just his body, as he declared in Bhagavad Gita itself, that I have 2 forms as mine, para and apara. Para is jiva, apara is the nature. I am the controller of both. Both being inside and being outside. Being outside, he manages everything to be in their own respective places. Being inside, he drives them. Because the purpose of being inside is antar yami. Antah pravisya yamayati. That is the purpose of him. So he is Narayana. This is the mantra taken by even the great Shankaracharya Swami. Whenever he used to bless, chant, he used to say Narayana. That is the same mantra taken by even Ramanujacharya. So Advaitam is no compromise. What is the ultimate reality of the Vedas is Narayana. But that Narayana, one reality, is always with uncountable souls and illimitable nature. And both are as his body. Just like you see your body, we see the nature. You won't be able to see the cells, we won't be able to see the souls. And you cannot see the inner controller, so also we won't be able to see the Parabrahman. But one with many, and one in subtlest form to the big and huge and universal macro form, but always remains as one. So remember, as you look at your own body, it is having so many things. Legs are different, hands are different, teeth are different, tongue is different. Diversity. In your body, you have diversity. And every part does his own activity. Do you remember that? Have you ever seen that one part is stealing the show of the others? Very danger. Sometimes I saw some persons' nose started quarreling with the mouth. And nose said, "Hey, mouth, you are a pretty selfish guy. Always you only eat everything, drink everything. We are all working. After all, I am giving the air to the entire body and supporting you in all respects. But not even single drop of water is given to me, not even single grain is given to me. All you only eat it." Doctors became very compassionate and wanted to fulfill the need of the nose, admitted him in the hospital, put 2 pipes in the nostrils, and started feeding through the nose. Is it good? Is it right? Is it the need? So look, every part has its own duty to render. Do it with no compromise. Confine to your activity. Respect other parts. Respect other parts. Don't stop your duty. Doing your duty is a karma. Respecting other parts is jnana. Then you can say that I love my body. Then your body is under your control. You love your body, right? So also God loves his body. And in his body there are devatas, natural forces. There are naras, manushyas, like us, in black, white, brown, so many colors. Manushyas. Tiryaks in many, many forms. Those which, of course, move on the ground and space and water. And of course, non-moving entities. But all these things are his divine body. And he is God. And that God is even within you. He is present even within all of us. As our Swamiji said, the Pandurangiji Swamiji said, that, even in inert objects also he is present, making them as his body. So, love is very much needed. And that love happens when you feel that it is yours. The entire universe is ours. I think though parts of your body are different, but each part does his work and loves you, right? And so it works for you. They never declare independence. Then you will be in trouble. And if your hand says, no, I don't want to raise, do whatever you want. Then you go to a doctor and say, doctor, I am paralytic. Please support me. Then, of course, he gives some medicine. So also, everybody should do his own duty. Whatever the scriptures talked about us as our responsibilities in this universe, being a person, either in a family, in an office, in a society, or in a business organization, in any activity, do your duty as a part of the body. Understand that you are a part of the whole. Don't miss the whole for the sake of a part. At the same time, don't miss the part also for the sake of whole, because whole will never remain without the part. And the part cannot exist without the whole. This is what is the Visishta Advaita, which talks about there is a diversity you see in the body, but it is unity. It works with unity out of love and concern. I love my body. You love your body too, isn't it? You may not like other person's body. That's a different issue. At least to that extent, let us try to understand. I love my body so much, I think probably anything else in the world. Anything else in the world. So also God loves his own body. The entire universe. And you are a part and I am a part too. We are all parts of the same God. Yes. And hence, we should do our duty and love others. We will say one slogan, of course, which we like always. Worship your own. Respect all. Whatever is yours, you worship that. But whatever is not yours, respect it. Don't worship. I worship my mom, but I respect your mother. I don't worship, but I respect. So also you. Whether you are a Vedic person or whether you are an atheist, I don't mind. Because these kinds of isms, what we call Vaishnavism, Saivism, Sakteism, atheism, Jainism, Buddhism, all these isms are to evolve yourself with a kind of faith. But when you come into the society, we should all work together. We should all work together for the common cause of the society. That is what Ramakrishna mission stands for. That is the reason why they called all the acharyas from different faiths. Why? Because each faith is needed for their own evolvement. But for the common cause of the society, we should always stand together for the benefit of the society. This is what is very much needed And so I respect even an atheist if he believes in that. And so also he needs to respect me too. Because respect should be always vice versa, isn't it? It should not be only one way. So we need to respect them, they need to respect us. We both should respect the society in which we live and work for the common cause of the society. This is what Ramanujacharya Swami in those days, probably 1,000 years before, spoke. And probably he was the person first opened the doors of the temples even for the lowest, probably who was considered as untouchables in those days, whom started people calling in later years as Harijans, and now people calling them as Dalits. Even for them he opened the doors, and he said, you are also a part of God, remember. We are all parts of God. Don't hesitate. Come. God is accessible to everyone, and even women need not be discriminated. They are also fit for chanting the name of the God and worshipping Him. He was the first person, gender equality and caste equality. When I say these things, Ramanuja eliminated the caste, people start talking. No. He said, every caste has its own role to play. Every sect has its own role to play. As different parts of the body, again, hand does its activity, teeth do their activities, also the tongue. They never bite each other. They never eliminate the difference. Don't eliminate the differences in the society. You can't, because you did not create them. So, follow the rule, respect everything in the society. What we say always, Sviya Aradhana, Sarva Adarana. Worship your own and respect all is the common slogan provided by Acharya Ramanuja Swami, and what the school of thought is called as Visishta Advaita. And I am very happy, the founder of, whether you call it a Dvaita or Advaita, Visishta Advaita, it comes from Advaita only anyway. But that is the foundation for everything. And the Advaita Ashram, which was started by the Mutt, and of course started talking about the Vedanta, the philosophies and the activities, and they're doing yeoman service in the society. Ramakrishna mission in general is working in very, very wider areas with the society, motivating the youth, motivating the people with different skills and so many things. And we always pray to God to make all these great, the sadhus and acharyas, to be strong enough to spread the message of those acharyas and rishis to nook and corner of the world, and keep them all together always, to make a family of God. Let the Mother Earth be happy with all of us, the beloved children of her. God bless you all. And we are so grateful, Swamiji, the Atma Priyananda Swamiji, who came from Beluru, and just we were talking to him. No, we so far did not get the chance of visiting the Beluru Mutt. And we feel like, just visiting once and seeing the great services of the great people doing there. And I'm very grateful to both Mayananda Swamiji, who came with his team and gave a chance to us to be a part of you here during these 125th annual celebrations of the emergence of Ramakrishna Mutt. And once again, we are very, very happy and thankful. Jai Shriman Narayan.
సంస్కృతి సాంప్రదాయం, ప్రేమ, ఆప్యాయత, రాజసం ఉట్టిపడే వేడుకలకు అనువైన ప్రదేశం MLN కన్వెన్షన్ హాల్. కని విని ఎరుగని రీతిలో జరిగే మీ ఇంటి కళ్యాణ వైభోగానికి అందమైన కళ్యాణ వేదిక MLN కన్వెన్షన్ హాల్. MLN కన్వెన్షన్ హాల్ ప్రత్యేకతలు: సువిశాలమైన వెడ్డింగ్ హాల్స్, సెంట్రలైజ్ AC, బ్యాంకెట్ హాల్ మరియు విశాలమైన డైనింగ్ హాల్, వధువరుల కోసం ప్రత్యేక AC మరియు నాన్ AC గదులు, నక్షత్రాల వెలుగులో పచ్చని పచ్చికపై పార్టీల కోసం అనువైన గార్డెన్. MLN కన్వెన్షన్ లో CCTV పర్యవేక్షణతో పూర్తి భద్రత. ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అండ్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ వర్కర్స్ గల అన్నపూర్ణ గ్రూప్ వారి సేవలు. 2000 వాహనాలు పార్కు చేసేందుకు సువిశాల పార్కింగ్ సౌకర్యం. మీ ఇంట జరిగే అన్ని శుభకార్యాలకు, పెళ్లి, రిసెప్షన్, ఎంగేజ్మెంట్, బర్త్డేస్, గెట్ టుగెదర్, కార్పొరేట్ ఈవెంట్స్, ఏ ఇతర శుభకార్యాలకైనా అందమైన వేదిక MLN కన్వెన్షన్ హాల్. బుకింగ్ కోసం సంప్రదించండి 7550438888 మరియు 7550428888. మా అడ్రస్ చీర్యాల లక్ష్మీ నరసింహస్వామి దేవాలయం ప్రక్కన, నియర్ ఔటర్ రింగ్ రోడ్, కీసరా జంక్షన్, చీర్యాల గ్రామం, మేడ్చల్ జిల్లా.